people identify as, yo, I'm a pink furry tree made from birch wood. A lot of West Africans, they look at Black Americans a little wild. Be like, why can't you do that? Even the Democratic Party, I feel like they went just way too far. The one thing you know about the Republican Party is like, yo, they hate everybody. At least I know what I'm walking into. They got their DNA test back, and they were like, yo, I'm Nigerian.
Oh.
And they went deep. They were like, all of a sudden, they covered themselves in the cloth of Nigeria. Miles taking the photos. Love it. I love it.
All right. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. There are the things we all know, but rarely say out loud.
Because the hardest things to say are the easiest patterns to repeat.
I am Enitan O. Barriola II, son of Reverend Enitan O. Barriola Sr., grandson of Chief Emmanuel Jeremiah Barriola, and great-great-grandson of King Kosoko of Lagos, Nigeria, best-selling author and co-founder of St. Miles.
Oga, why are you dropping this right now?
Oh, it's a reason, man.
Oga?
It's all going to make sense.
Why are you dropping?
That's what we're talking about today, man. Identity. Who are you, man?
Who are you?
Who are you? Come to this.
And I'm Martin Ekechukwu, entrepreneur, investor, founder of What Works, son to Dr. Theodore Uhanwa Ekechukwu.
Yeah.
Yo, and this is The Quiet Truth.
Where every week we sit down with creatives, leaders of the new school, and the cool kids who are willing to share what most people will not.
Yo, the real cost of success was our last episode. Had a lot of fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for the next one, man.
Let's get into it, man.
Let's get into
it.
What did we say this one's called again?
Identity crisis.
Identity crisis. So
something of the sort like that.
Identity crisis. We're gonna really touch on. Actually, no. Before we even get into it, I really got to shout out the fact that my heart is broken for the shooting that happened yesterday.
Oh man,
the shooting in Minneapolis, that really broke my heart. I woke up this morning. I don't know if I knew about it yesterday, but I woke up this morning, opened up my phone like I do, doom scrolling through news, and I got weepy. I got really weepy. I think that everyone with children that has 6, 7, 8-year-old children would, if you don't get weepy reading that, something's wrong with you. You have no heart. So this dude just showed up, went into a church. It was like school. Actually, it's a Catholic school, a Catholic preschool, or a Catholic some sort of kindergarten school, things like that, first grade, whatever it is. And they had orientation day. Dude came in and he shot up the place. This white kid. And so the manifesto was not really what you would expect. He was protesting Donald Trump, is protesting the Second Amendment, how easy it is to get guns, how easy to do these things. And so he made an example of all the things that we talk about as far as societal issues by going in and shooting up and killing a bunch. He killed 2 kids, injured, I want to say 12, 13, 14 people. The heroic teachers kept him from damaging more, and he ended up taking his life right there as well. So it's just I can't jump into these conversations without at least acknowledging that people are hurting. There's pain out right now with these folks, and as a father of 5 incredible kids, with a 5-year-old, it pains. I can't imagine the pain that people have, right? Imagine the pain that people have right now. So I just wanted to at least call that out.
God bless, protect, and keep all of those impacted, affected. Pray that you're comforted in this time of grief, and can't make sense of it all, but prayers are certainly with you in real life, in real time.
Yeah, man. So weirdly enough, there's a tiny bit of a segue unintentionally, because we talked about, the quiet truth, which is, identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you identify? Mm-hmm. And I think that now, unfortunately, the word identity has gotten kind of bastardized a little bit.
Yeah, it's co-opted by all,
But
because all have expressive ways to show up.
yeah, listen, I'm not here to judge. If you want to be a furry, be furry. Okay. I mean, I don't agree with it, but all right, I ain't got to live your life, bro. Like, I ain't got to live your life.
I
So
don't even know what a furry is, but it sounds
it
interesting.
sounds exactly what you think. Like people dress up like as furry animals.
Hey,
And
man.
that's their identity. I mean, it's like you want to be that cool, but for me, right, the quiet truth of identity is that I struggled
Mhm.
personally with identity for a long time. So you know, I grew up in two countries, mixed race family. My father is Nigerian, mother is Czech. And I was born in Nigeria in a very Nigerian household, to a very Nigerian family, incredibly. My mother is the outsider. She was the white woman from the Czech Republic that stood out like a sore thumb. And she was, quote unquote, forced to live in Nigeria with my dad. But this was like, the early 70s, right? Nigeria was on the rise. The Nigerian kobo was more valuable than the US dollar. It was ridiculous. The agriculture was the sickest. The minerals were the sickest. Everything was the sickest back in the 70s, right? It was crazy. My parents were living large. We had compounds. My dad had cars. He flew in from Germany. My mom was ordering furniture from Finland. We were traveling to UK. Things were nice, right?
Yeah.
And then even on the identity side, even knowing that my mom was Czech, I didn't necessarily feel too tight to Nigerian culture when I was young, because I was more most boys cleave to their mom,
right?
So I felt more at peace with the Czech community. So when I was in Europe, while they looked at me like I was a wild, African bushman, what I mean? But they didn't treat me like that, right? They just treat me like they were like looking at me like, who are you? So I struggled with that. So like my identity was tied directly into being a mixed race kid, closer to my Czech heritage and my Nigerian heritage, until I moved to the United States. Then the US was the biggest challenge for me, because Europe and Western Africa, at least, it wasn't race. It was class a lot of the times. It was tribe a lot of the times. And Nigeria certainly is Igbo, there's Hausa, there's Yoruba, there's all these, like, there's so many. So it's like tribal communities that people will judge you on versus racial communities. Europe, it was about class, how much money you got or don't got, you're working class or not working class, where do you live, what part of the city you in. Wasn't even about race. Moved to Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Man, that's a jump.
Of all places, right? And I talked this on the last episode, which is like my dad, he made the call to be able to move there. But moving to Arkansas, I then lost my full identity because I just wanted to be a normal black kid from the South. And that's not who I was.
Just want to fit in.
And there was always this challenge of identity. So it's like in my 30s into my 40s, I got tight on my Nigerian shit.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm a Nigerian kid, born to a Nigerian man, lives a Nigerian life. I happen to be also Czech at the same time. Not white. Not white. Czech.
I like that delineation. Is there is this pre Black Panther when you were like, yo,
wow, that's a great question. It was.
All right, excellent.
That's great. That was before. It didn't impact me.
Locked in before it became.
I locked in beforehand, man. But it's like, but I feel like, listen, let's get into the real issues. Like, I feel like I'm rooted all the way back centuries and generations where I can go into my lineage.
Yeah.
I don't have the unfortunate tragedy of slavery.
Yeah.
That holds my story in a different light.
Right.
Mine goes all the way back. People can be like, well, your family was in the bush. Yeah, probably. My mom's side of the family probably were Vikings.
Yeah.
Probably. You never know. But that lineage is real. And I pulled from that to tell my story. And I feel like that the quiet truth is that I feel like that's the biggest challenge in the US. Is like Black Americans, which I saw myself as one when I was young. That's the biggest issue. Is that the lack of the tragedy of slavery created a lack of a rooting that we then had to, myself included, needed to create a rooting from a thread of a blanket of culture
Yeah.
that we had to create.
Yeah,
here as
Black
States.
culture is a blanket of it derives from our roots in Africa. It has American seasoning sprinkled on it, something that was created because a lot of Black Americans, African Americans, don't know who they are, don't have that identity in turn. It's a sensitive topic, which we want to discuss, but uh, there's value in identity. And similar to you, man, like my dad, is from Nigeria, from Lagos, and comes from a storied background, a rich background, in the sense that there's a royal lineage within our family. And he came from a great life, with maids and drivers and such back home. And his parents died early, which brought his brother to the United States. He went on to Stanford, Uncle Remy, and who I never met but heard so much about. And then went back to Nigeria and got my father, his sister, and so forth. I kind of kept going back and forth, and bringing these young teenagers going into adulthood to a place to kind of start over because their parents were gone and they left everything they knew and loved to come here and start from scratch. And growing up, man, like my father always poured into us who we are. It was commonplace. It was like he's taking out the garbage, and on the way out, you come from kings. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so casual to the point I didn't believe it. I was like, what are you talking? I didn't believe, do we really come from kings and queens? And he just always poured into us. And my son Miles, I do the same thing for, because I now understand the value of identity and having that consistent knowledge of who you are and what's in you, right? So that when times get rough, inevitably, you know what to draw from.
Yeah.
You understand like what you were able to withstand and who your people are, right? And like you can tap in and understand, and then all of a sudden you have all the courage and insight. Anytime that you probe that and turn on that button, it's like a superpower, supercharged within you. And unfortunately, a lot of Black Americans don't, from what I understand, don't have that. Now here's the catch. My mama's a Black woman from Cleveland, Ohio. Moved to California, to San Francisco. My grandfather and grandmother moved there for opportunity as well. In 1950, I believe, around that time, 52. And they met at San Jose State University. And so I have both sides, right? I have they divorced when I was like 5, 6 years old. So I was going to my mom, I was living with my mom, then traveling with my dad to Oakland, between Oakland and San Jose in the Bay Area. And I'm getting the pouring at home from one side and the pouring at home from the other side. My mom is like the one who would always identify someone on TV and see that anchor? She's a Black woman. You see that TV light that they're using? A Black man invented that fluorescent bulb. You see that? Like she was always really intentional about us knowing who we are from the Black American side. So I had both things. And when my dad would drop us off at school, carrying our luggage from staying with him for the weekend, I was so embarrassed when he would come to the front office and be like, my son, and have this accent. And
This is my son.
yeah, because I mean, like when we were young, man, like Africa was on some like flies and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
You always had that dude, that little boy
yeah,
with the distended stomach.
his
with the
ribs
flies
were
and
outside of his kneecaps. And
that's how they saw me, though. That's how they saw a lot of us.
And that's what they
frankly.
sold us.
Yeah.
That's what they sold America. So you were losing. It was like this dilution of identity, trying to convince us that we aren't who we are. This constant conviction that we aren't who we are, right? And they got good at it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us don't know who we are, but we have the value. We want to preface this and start the conversation with our background, saying that we do have an understanding of who we are. It's why we show up how we show up. It's why there's fearlessness in some areas, insecurity in some areas of our lives that some people don't have security in, because we have a firm understanding and knowledge of who we are.
Yo, I mean, but the quiet is kept. I guess this is the whole reason why we're doing the Quiet Truth podcast, right? Because I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like this was a major issue, and it continues to be a major issue. I'm gonna be real blunt about it. I feel like a lot of West Africans, or Africans in general, that have moved to the States, that are immigrants, they look at Black Americans a little wild. But like, why can't you do that?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Why can't you put? It's like, and the crazy part is that having lived as a youth in the South,
Mm-hmm.
I heard that from a lot of people, but I never believed it, because I always knew that there was a systemic issue that's unfortunately in the hearts and minds of Black Americans that goes back before. Like, we showed up in the 80s. We were like We just showed up. We just traveled in and we just picked up from there. And we were like, we had the benefit of having a different sort of upbringing and different sort of support system. Our support system was super clear. We moved, there's already a family member in the United States that made a little bit of money, pull another family member over, we pool our money together, we live together, we spend money, we're all then going to school. So we come in for a purpose, right? The purpose is we're gonna get a higher education in the United States. And so in and of itself, the background that you have as a youth Black American, you don't have to deal with that. You don't have to deal with the racism and the systemic issues and the hood and whatever you're having to deal with on the bad side. There's obviously an incredible, rich Black American population that never had to go through that. But at the end of the day, we didn't have to deal with that stuff. We just showed up.
Yeah.
And then because we went to school and our purpose, we started off in a different pathway.
Yeah.
So all of us came here to go to school.
Right.
And once we got into school, we then are starting at a playing field of at least a bachelor's to a master's and a doctorate.
Yeah.
And now, so our kids are now developing master's, bachelor's, master's, and a doctorate. Everyone's developing on a different level versus some Black Americans that are not able to do that because they're working off of inequity. We didn't have to work off inequity. We just had to work off lack of money.
Yeah.
But we were also getting money from our family members back in Nigeria. My dad was funded to come here. He didn't show up on his own. He was funded.
Yeah.
So it's like it's interesting. So I'm curious though, how do you square that between a Black American mother and a Nigerian father?
Good question.
And how do you square that hole?
Man, it's funny, brother. It's funny sitting in between both sides because I try to explain to people having a father before he became a U.S. citizen as an immigrant in America who, child of an immigrant. It's no different than it's a different culture. So it's no different than my dad being from South America or my dad being from Asia. It's like a different, although he's a Black man, it's the culture, bro. You have a Nigerian father, so it ain't the same thing. And I had a stepdad in the house as well. My mother remarried, shout out to Pops. And so I got to see, I have all of these, I got to visit all of these places within my own family. I got to see the gambit of Black culture and culture period, within my own family. I got all of these different threads to pull from. So naturally, as a child, I gravitated towards Black African Americans because is someone's trying to fit in, that's the easy route, right? But it's I never, in my mind, it's kind of like me being brown skin. I'm not dark skin. I'm not light skin. I'm gonna let y'all argue. I'm gonna sit here in the middle. I'm trying to figure out who's in style. You know what I'm saying? I ain't Drake. I ain't Meek. I'm right there in between Cinnamon. So I'm gonna let y'all two figure all that thing out. But in all seriousness, I was not, my dad's from Nigeria, my mom's a Black woman. So I was not Nigerian enough for Nigerians. My accent is horrible. You know what I mean? And then once there was a uniqueness about me that wasn't quite, not to say I wasn't Black, because I don't have the aside from my what's the word I want to use? Aside from my beautiful nose, my rather large nose, I don't have typical an American would look at and say, oh, he's Nigerian qualities, right? Physical qualities. So I could kind of fit in aside from my name. But even my name doesn't necessarily ring Nigerian. It's not like Oluwanjuba, all the O's.
I'm Ekechukwu. So Ekechukwu is the most common Nigerian name.
Yeah, and Enitan, Beriola, my name is ironically or divinely means someone with a story to tell, which is beautiful. I know. What is the origins of your last name?
So Ekechukwu actually, Chukwu, God.
Okay.
So God is in you.
Yeah.
Ekechukwu.
There's always going to be some God. I mean, my whole name is a beautiful story. I have a long middle name, first and last middle. But I've always kind of just sat and observed because of my position, right? I'm not quite Nigerian, a different type of African American. So I'm able to observe these two worlds and two places. And that's always been my disposition in life, right? Like we talked about being clairvoyant and how you could see around the corner. I've always sat and observed the two tensions, the two cultures, and figured out, all right, what's my place there, right? So it was an interesting journey, and remains an interesting journey. And I'm more tied in my adult life, like you, where I started to get more tied into my African roots, and more like what you pour into a child will eventually come out. So to all the parents out there who are worried about if your kid's gonna, if they're listening to you, if it's going in one ear or out the other, it eventually all lands somewhere, because all that my father poured into me started into my adulthood pour out of me, and I really started to embrace, being a Nigerian man.
Yeah.
And, got the Africa tattooed on my arm. I got the warrior, sphere on my neck. I got I'm locked in a way that is authentic to me. Like I'm more tied to my African side of the family, my cousins. When I'm back in the Bay, we kick it. My siblings kick it with them all the time. It's more of a family affair. When we were growing up, we weren't as tight, not just because of the divorce, right, that split the family, but because of our wildly bought in notions, preconceived notions about what Africa really is. We were robbed of America tries to rob you of that identity, right? And
I think the purpose of slavery was to rob you of identity. Right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. If you can get slavery as a non-factor, then you're certainly able to diminish a people.
Yeah.
Just out the gate. So it's just tragic. But the question I always have is like, how do we find that identity? And is piecemealing an identity way to go after it? Because I'm clear.
Right.
I'm clear on my story. I'm clear on my background. I'm clear on my people. I can go into the logs of the annals of history, and I can see my dad and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you lock in on identity, right? How do you piecemeal it? It's like, I feel like that's always the challenge, right? The quiet truth about all this is that people are seeking identity.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that? How do you support that? How do you solve for that for folks seeking identity? Because we talked about it yesterday, right? We talked about the fact that church,
Mm-hmm.
God, Jesus. Obviously, I'm a believer, but I'm not like that. For Black culture, I think because it was a holy, HOLEY, quilt that wrapped people with threads of African culture, smaller threads of African culture. They had to fill it with holy, HOLY,
Mm-hmm.
holy things to help them fill a void, right? So Jesus and God, obviously, because Nigeria, West Africa, there was no Jesus, there was no God. It was just like there was some other voodoo shit. It's like there was like
Christianity did come through early.
It came
early.
through, but it wasn't big. It wasn't like huge.
It's spread. It started to spread it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah. You know what? You're probably right about that.
Oh, yeah.
My thing is that it's like it was filled with HOLY,
Mm-hmm.
right? To grab identity, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more valuable to have an identity in Christ than it is to have an identity in culture.
Oh,
And
words.
I think a lot of our identity is in culture. Look at the way that we speak, look at the way that we dress, look at what we value, look what's profitable, look what's cool, look what is actually valuable when it comes to consumerism, when it comes to capitalism. Black culture is like top of the food chain. I mean, they're trying to again convince us otherwise, but we know what it is. We in a lot of those roots, when you talk about like music and rhythm and drums and how we used to have to converse, and like there are these tones and these qualities about Black culture that come from those roots that we all know. That's why it feels a certain way to all of us. That's why we can all get on social media and on threads or something and discuss this commonality, or we all laugh at these same jokes. It's like this inside joke, this thing. We all feel like we all know a thing that not everybody else knows as Black people, right? Like we possess there's something that we offer that is just us, right? We all collectively typically feel that way. And I think those accoutrements are the things that Black Americans cling to in terms of identity. And then we start to merge, and think about assimilation and thinking about belonging, how we attempted to do as children. Then you start to buy into like, the ways of the Western world in terms of identity. And you look at career and you think you are your career, right? Like our parents were willing to leave a place to come to a new place, and whoever they were back home, they were willing to divorce themselves of that identity, Like my father left, like it wasn't rags to riches, it was riches to rags. You know what I'm saying? It was like a backwards story, coming to America, story where he had to kind of start all over, right? And
after he moved here, or
yeah, after he moved here, he started. I've seen him start all over several times when he moved here. I mean, I didn't see that, but I know the story. It's in me.
Yeah.
After the divorce, he had to start. I've seen him pivot and build, and that's in me. I had that. I bear witness to that. But
I think that's built into your DNA. Though,
it's built into the DNA.
Because I feel like as an immigrant, it's built in your DNA to be able to understand that things can go left.
Yeah.
You just gotta be okay with it.
Yeah.
Pick up and you will survive and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, you talked last night. We were taking a stroll through Central Park, and you were like, you were looking at a raccoon or something. It was rats walking by. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, by the way.
Raccoon.
New York. But you were saying like, yo, I was kind of like, you were all up on the raccoon. I was like, yo, if I want to see an animal, I'm gonna go to the zoo. I'm good. You're like, nah, man, I'm interested. I was like, you're not afraid of animals? And you said no, right? Because you come from, you're willing, but being born in Nigeria, opening up the front door and seeing a rattlesnake when you were young.
Cobra, bro.
A cobra. That
joint,
is much different.
That joint was big.
There's a you're not afraid of, you mentioned, like you like to toil and have your hands on things and be in the garden and like get your hands dirty, and that's who you are in business as well. It naturally translates because that's in you.
Yeah.
And there's value in that. There's value in your identity and knowing that again, you have capacity, knowing that if everything crumbles, you know how to build, right? You know where to pull from. You have the resources within yourself to be able to cultivate the land, to be able to expand. So no matter what happens, you know that you're going to be all right. Right. I think that we, in this side of things in Western society in America, we are so beholden, and you're seeing it now, to the accoutrements of the world, of capitalism. Like once you cut off the career, once you cut off DEI, once you cut off the source, which is not really the source, it's the resource. God is the source. Once you cut off the source, we start to go crazy.
Yeah.
We start to panic because who we are is rooted in what we do, what we can offer, how we present to the world, who thinks what of us, right? Because those the people who are misaligned with those things. Those are the people who are depressed. Those are the people who are like, ending it all. Those are the people who are making like permanent decisions, but when you understand who you are, that you're always able to build, that it's never over.
But does identity go too far though? I mean, like, it has to go too far, bro. Like, listen, we were just joking a minute ago. I think, I don't even know if this thing was on yet, talking about furries and other stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, it's like people identify as, I'm a pink furry tree, made from birchwood that likes asexual looking trans men, whatever. It's like, has it gone too far? Like, even the Democratic Party, I feel like they went just way too far. The one thing about the Republican Party is like, they hate everybody. They hate everybody, right? They're just like, you're not white, you're not this, you gay, we hate you. It's like, at least you know that. At least I know what I'm walking into. And it was like, but then you have like too many identifications, and it's like, that doesn't bother me per se, but it's still like, really.
Yeah, and again, I think people are grabbing what they can grab, what they feel, and they need to hold on to something, brother. When you don't have anything, you need to, and when there's a perception that you don't have anything, because you have it. There is an identity. It's just the ignorance of the identity, not knowing, right? The not knowing not knowing is you're going to seek, right? Like it's going to create a desire in you to want to discover, right? You have 21andMe, you have these DNA tests, right? That help kind of feed this desire to know who you are.
Bro. There's someone that we both know, prominent figure, that all of a sudden got, and I can't say their name because we both know them well.
Quiet truth.
And I'm not that crazy to go that far.
Nah, man, you know what I'm saying? We getting this sponsor money, bro.
But they got their DNA test back, and they were like, "Yo,
I'm white."
No, they are of color. They were like, "Yo, I'm Nigerian."
Oh,
and they went deep. They were like, all of a sudden, they covered themselves
Oh
in the
man,
cloth of Nigeria.
I've
bro.
seen it.
Like all the way. I like everything was like Nigeria. This I got to go to the home country.
Accent.
I got to do all of it. Like I was like
Eating fufu at the crib.
All of that. Just yesterday,
Nigerian jollof is the best.
Nigerian jollof, yo, seriously, is the best of all time. The Senegalese, the Ghanaians, y'all can kick rocks. But it's like all of a sudden he just washed himself in the cloth of Niger. Because
man, it's this desire. It's a strong desire. Again, like, and me, it's so sitting on both sides, and me even understanding all of these things, right? Like knowing the value of identity, knowing who I come from and what I am. I still am much more invested in my identity in Christ than I am my identity of anything on this temporary plane, right? Because yes, knowing my identity will help me navigate this land, right? But once my time is up here, my identity in Christ is much more valuable to eternity than it is than my identity in myself, right? Like in where I come from. When it was a quick story, when my father transitioned November 16th, 2021, we had the privileges of his family, my siblings, my sister, my brother, my stepmother, my little sister. The fam was surrounding him at the bed, and he was despondent most of the time that I was there. It was like looking at a shell of my father. It was such a emotionally charged time, but I was able to tap into identity and go to a place, and immediately, as soon as I saw him, to start taking care of my father. Not thinking about the emotional baggage of, oh my gosh, I've never seen my dad like this. I just immediately went to a place where I locked in, and I was like, all right, this is a time that's coming to pass. This is happening.
Yeah.
So he was despondent, really quiet, didn't say much, was just tired, lethargic. And he had this moment where it was probably, it's hard to quantify the time. Maybe it was between 45 minutes to an hour and a half, where he just came to, and he became really lively and jubilant. I was like, is God healing him? Like, what's happening? It was this really interesting spiritual moment that's hard to explain, but was beautiful to experience. And he just started sharing things. He was singing. He was dance. He was joking with my stepmom, with his wife. And then he went around the room, and he said to each one of his kids who we are. And he said it really interesting in a way that, although he said the same thing, he said, "You're a warrior. Warrior." And he would look at my little sister. He said, "Warrior." And then he leaned forward and said it to kind of reinforce it, right? He gave it to us how he knew our soul needed it, to hear it.
Yeah.
So he said the same thing to each one of us differently. And when he said it, man, it's like something, like, Ghost, the movie Ghost, when something comes up in you, I was like possessed. Like, it's like I'm a war. Like I knew that, because these are things that he would always pour into us as far as identity. But he was giving us some jewelry for the juncture ahead.
Oh, wow.
Right? He was telling us who we are. And he shared several things in that moment, just pouring into us and reminding us who we are, that we can, one, withstand the moment we were about to encounter, our father leaving this earthly plane. And we were able to witness him literally in between two places, man.
Yeah.
Like he was seeing things and saying what he was. It was just a whole otherworldly thing that allows me to confidently experience these days and live this life without fear, remembering what he said. There was one moment where it was just he and I, and the caretaker was like in the background. It was the day before the morning/afternoon before he transitioned. So November 15th, 2021. And he was just quiet that day. After all of that, the day before, he was just quiet, not just lethargic. And suddenly he just looked at me and he said, "All is forgiven."
Yo, that just gave me chills right there. Yo, all is forgiven?
He said that to me.
Wow.
And then he said it a second time. And instead of looking at me, when someone's looking through you?
Looking through you.
He looked through me and he said, almost if it was revelatory, he said, "All is forgiven." Like, almost like he was hearing it from something else, right?
Yeah.
And he starts weeping because it was like, oh my gosh, this revelation. He says it to me sternly, like,
wow,
forces it in me. Wow. And I was like, whew, like, you felt all is forgiven? And then he said it the second time, and he starts weeping as if he's hearing it himself. He didn't hear it the first time he said it. And then he said it a third time in this resounding voice that was like a voice, unearthly voice that I was like, what was that?
Wow.
And it was like, although it was audible, it was almost like he said it to my entirety.
Yeah.
You know, it was like this, like everything washed over me. And it wasn't like, you know, all is forgiven, everything you did. It was like everything you will do.
Yeah.
So it was this freedom to live your life, son. And it was this revelation that he had at the end of his life, this gift that he was giving me at the end of his life, right? Like, and he was so gracious in his departure, and still gracious to this day, even though he's not physically present. He's still giving gifts, right? The things that he said still resonate. But that's all rooted. The first part of us calling us warriors is rooted in this worldly identity that helps me navigate this plane. But all is forgiven. That's Christ's identity, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a different level of.
Someone was speaking through him.
Oh,
to
God
you,
brother. Listen,
or someone.
God was speaking, man. The third time he said it, I ain't never heard my dad sound. I don't know what. That was a whole different. That was in. I forgot that the caretaker was. I'm glad I had a witness. The caretaker was in back, and once all that was done, and we kind of, I looked back there, and that they were just shook, bro. They were just shook.
Wow.
And they see these things all the time because they're caretakers. Hospice, they're always at homes caring for the sick. But they were just shook.
Wow.
Oh yeah, after he transitioned everything and he came to me, signed the paperwork, and had to have a conversation.
Wow.
As a man had to have a conversation with me, Asian man, and was just like, brother, in all the years I've been doing this, I've never in my life. That was powerful, man.
Wow.
I said, I'm glad you were here for that. I'm glad I'm not the only beneficiary, but I'm sharing it with you all and the listeners, man, because all is forgiven. And that's a cultural concept, right? That's an identity that you could sink your teeth into, that is not fleeting, that is fixed, that is true. And when you believe it, there's nothing you can do about it but just be forgiven and just live life in a way that allows you to not give yourself grace, but receive the grace that is available to you every time you get the gift of breath when you wake up in the morning. You can take a deep breath and be like, all is forgiven. Let me get this day so you don't have to carry baggage. You know what I'm saying? You can just be, bro. That's identity, man. When you can just show up and just be, regardless of what you come from. Yeah, I wear that. Like, identity is strong. Like, I have so many components of identity attached to me in the branding that I do, the businesses that I start, St. Miles, like Burial S Group. Everything that I do is tied to a worldly identity for branding, but I am much more grounded in my identity in Christ than any identity that I have, because it is greater than any identity that I have on this plane.
So I love that, because I think that people forget their identity.
Yeah.
I think that people also forget.
I do.
I think people forget who they are.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, I thought, when we were out on a walk. People forget who they are. And I think people also like clout chasing a lot of the times. And so as a result, they forget who they are to clout chase. I may have already told the story before, but, you know, at the end, actually I did tell the story before. I'm not going to bore you. But did I talk about yesterday about the couple from the stadium?
Yeah. Coldplay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How this woman on social, she came after me, had believer in Christ and Jesus inside of her profile.
Yeah, man. Don't be misrepresenting our guy. You know what I'm saying? But we all do, though, by the way. We all misrepresent.
With facts. But it's interesting because, you know, I feel like I had at one point lost really who I was for a heartbeat. It's not often.
What do you mean? When they dive into that?
Man, so listen, I think that a lot of the times we forget about our own power. We forget about our own skills, things that we do. You know, I always have to have people remind me, yo, man, you are that guy. Don't forget that you're that guy.
What makes us forget, man? As much as we've been poured into, as much as we know, is it our flesh? Is our humanity? Like, what is it?
I think we forget just because we get distracted. We're distracted by the stressors that are impacting us on an ongoing basis. We get, you know, distracted by the payroll needs to be met. We get distracted by the issue you might be having with a spouse at that moment in time. Like distracted by, you forget who you are, and so you kind of like get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to I had to get out of my thing. People have to remind me that I'm more powerful than I've ever been. I'm in my late 40s. I'm an old man.
Nah, hey man, bring that back, bruh. You got about 50 more.
Got 50 more to go.
Middle, you halfway. You ain't old, bruh.
I know, right? So the funny part, I don't feel old, right?
Nah,
I feel, listen, when you get out of bed nowadays, I mean, you just talked about your ankle a little while ago.
Wake up injured for no reason.
Wake up injured.
Yeah.
I dream about playing basketball and I show up in the morning. I show up in the morning
Shoulder dislocated.
Shoulder pain, knee pain, and I was in the bed. You know what I mean? I was in the bed. Yo, dog, I got out of my office one day. I literally put my foot in front of the other. And my knee was like, "No, you're not."
Yeah.
My knee was like, "No, you're not. No, what are you doing? What are you thinking right now?" Boy, you better sit back down.
Yo.
What are you doing? Sit down.
Wake up injured, bruh. Anybody who ain't hit 40s yet, I guarantee you something immediately happens. Like 30, I remember walking around the mall and I was like, why am I weary? And all of a sudden, I was just walking yesterday around the mall. It was good, but 30 hit. And then 40 hits and just things happen.
Bruv, my hip hurt this morning. And I was like, I ain't do nothing last night. I slept.
Yo.
I slept. I was like, yo, my hip was like, you better take your old ass back into bed.
Insert wellness promo ad here. Sponsors.
Sponsored by Ben Gay.
Hey,
we're gonna have Shaq on here next time.
When they say pause,
I know.
Hey yo, yeah, Shaq, what's happening?
Icy Hot.
Icy Hot, yeah. Shout out to
Icy Hot. Shout out to Icy Hot.
Shout out to Icy Hot. This
is
a complimentary shout out. You know, when your knees ain't right, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to be right at night.
Facts.
No, your story, man. I don't want to.
No, but at the end of the day, it's like, I think that we forget who we are. I have to be reminded. Unfortunately, often, because I get out of my space. And I think sometimes, quietly, I have imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I had imposter syndrome through business school. And so I went to one of the best business schools in the world, Duke. And I came out. Yeah, absolutely. And so I finished undergrad with an okay degree. An okay GPA. I got a degree in microbiology. So I'm a science guy. Always been a science guy.
Oh man, I don't know if I knew microbiology.
Yeah, it's like I'm a science nut. So my wife calls me Perry Mason because I got to get into the details and information. I got to get into the molecular levels of things. I need to understand the depths of the things. It's like, because I'm a microbiologist by trade, right? Went to pharmaceutical industry, did sales there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like the only guy in business school that didn't have a degree in finance. I wasn't a former consultant. I wasn't a banker. I wasn't any of those things. I wasn't a lawyer. There were so many lawyers, doctors, everybody. I was in there. I was a sales guy with a degree from University of Arkansas, Fayetteville, that played tennis, ran track, and was a pharmaceutical sales guy. My imposter syndrome was heavy. It was heavy because I'm surrounded by, shout out to my section, Deuce, that held me up because I came there hat in hand. I was like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Economics? What's that? Like statistics? My first class was there. So it's like, I've always been in a situation where I've been surrounded by people that I've always seen as being like super smarter than me. Like so much smarter than me. From the moment I stepped on that campus, I was impressed by everybody. And I always felt like I was being coached.
Yeah.
Like I was always being mentored. It's like I was being told what I'm not doing right, what I'm not doing wrong. I was always this. I was like, so I always felt like I just didn't have the chops. Right. So I'm always having to be reminded about the fact that pedigree is amazing. Experience also counts for as much, if not equal weighting, if not more than that, to the pedigree. But I always had that. So unfortunately, I have to be reminded. I just have to be, because I started off in a place of what I think is incorrectly now, I believe, inequity.
What do you mean?
Because I feel like I showed up without the same level of pedigree as everybody else.
So it wasn't necessarily fact, but it was perspective, right?
Maybe it's perspective. I'm still shocked that I got into that business school. Shocked. Like I only applied to one school. I was convinced I was going to go to Duke. My brother-in-law, he went to Harvard Business School, and I just like, you know what? If I don't get in here, it's not meant to be. And I politicked. I worked. I talked to everybody. I showed up. I put in the effort, put in the time. Shout out to Liz Riley. Shout out to Sharon. Shout out to all the folks that over there at Duke that were there when I was getting in. I hustle. The thing I know about myself that you can't take away, and this is an immigrant story. I'm a hustler.
Yeah.
It's like nothing else. I'm a hustler. So I got in the car. I remember during they do a minority weekend that I go to every year. I'm religiously, I show up because that's when all the black students, well, really all minority students show up for this weekend, and they give you a taste of what it's like to be in business school, right? It's an incredible experience. So you walk in, you're surrounded by everybody else that's there. And during that process, you get to meet the admissions folks, you get to have interviews. And I was like, yo, this is my one shot. I feel like Hamilton, one shot. It's like literally, I was up in there. I was like, one day, Liz Riley was like, I'm gonna, people, y'all can hop in the car with me. We're going to the next spot. My butt, I hopped in the front seat right with her, and I talked her up. That's what I want to do. And somehow, some way, I got in.
Yeah, you made it known, man. You know what I'm saying? Make your request known.
But that's the imposter syndrome. And I feel like quietly, a lot of us have imposter syndrome. We have to work through. It's true.
Yeah, man. Be fearful about nothing. It's interesting. I relate, brother. I mean, look, it took me a year to be like, I'm an author. I had a best-selling book out, my first book. But because the path that I took was unconventional, I gave effort, but there were people who all their life, they wanted to become a writer.
Oh, wow.
And they go to the camps and they belong to the groups. And I wasn't any of that. I just had a mentor who made the recommendation, and I just jumped out the window and attempted something, and just so happened to, by God's grace, it was written. You know what I mean? It was in 3 bestsellers later. I'm like, okay, I'm an author, right? And I finally accepted that. And I would be on stages often with people who, same thing. I'm like, man, I'm on a stage with this person and that person in these spaces. I feel like I'm the least of these. Like, how did I get here? Because I was unwilling to accept who God said I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Identity. Like, God says you're forgiven. God says, you are the greatest of these, of all creation. God says you're greater than rubies, better than
I be rolling off these things from the Bible,
because I read it every morning, man. I just finished reading.
I couldn't even tell you where Genesis is, bro.
I didn't know either. I shout out to Asani Swan, my god sister, who in 2017 in New York on a book tour before I started the Exhibit Grade tour, after going on a press run, I met with her at dinner in Upper West Side, and we had a conversation, and she said, man, reading the word changed my life. And I grew up with it and all that, but I just never just read it. This is long. And I decided to start in 2017. I haven't stopped. Wow. I read it, I finish, I'll go again. I finish, I go. Yeah,
you read it? Whole thing?
I just finished the whole thing. Probably about 2 months ago, and now I'm just reading Proverbs and I'm meditating on words. So I'll read Proverbs like 18:2, and then I'll read 18:2 through whatever, like 19:22, and then I'll read it again the next day, and I'll read it because I'm trying to really meditate. And I told you, focus and discipline are my words of this era, of this season, and I'm really just trying to feed on it, right? In the same way, like when you have a healthy diet, it's not like you eat salad on Tuesday and that's it. Like, now you keep on eating, you know what I'm saying? Keep on incorporating those things in your diet. So for me, it helps me start off my day right. It helps me set the tone before I just like wake up and get to it. There's no way I can't do that. My day will be shot. People talk about morning routines and all that. For a long time, I read my daily devotional. I read the word, I pray, and then I get it moving. It takes me an hour at minimum for the most part.
Man, I've got a whole Vatican priest as an uncle, a whole Vatican priest. I got a whole Vatican aunt who's a nun there as well. And I got like at least another half dozen that are dedicated to that church. Boy, you couldn't tell me that, my life wasn't going to be full of the Catholic Church. And it was for a long time when I was down there. But the fact that you could rattle off all this stuff.
Yeah, because it becomes in you. It's identity, right? Like, it's just like we can rattle off culturally. We could jab and spar all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to spend on time online to know what's popping. Like it's in you. You just know, right? So you can see around the corner. So it's a similar thing. Like, what you feed yourself, what you consume, you will regurgitate. And
I consume all like negative media. So I'm regurgitating negative.
And you'll feel as well, because we're these human beings. We have this vehicle, and we're also these spiritual beings. So like when you consume, you just your spirit remembers, your body remembers, your mind remembers. So it's I always tell people to take heed with caution what you consume casually, whether it's music, be it television, be whatever your consumption is. The more you're intentional about your consumption, the more you will see a difference in the life that you live, that you perceive. Because we all live in this world, but we could all have a different story.
Man, I'm so tired. Don't continue, because my wife's gonna watch this and she'd be like, "See, I told you. You're ingesting the wrong things. That's why you negative." I was like,
"Are you? You're negative?"
It's not that.
I don't think you're negative.
I have an outlook on life.
Yeah.
Where I don't necessarily look for the worst, but I'm skeptical of all things.
I'm kind of like, that's why I'm surprised that I have faith. Hey man, you ain't finna pull a fast one. Bro.
I'm skeptical of all things. I side eye all things. I think of the worst of all things because I want to be prepared for what the BS is going to show up around the corner. And I'm very distrustful of a lot of things. Mm-hmm. That's also why you and I keep our circles super close. Mm-hmm. We're like, we don't have new friends.
Yeah.
For us to like, you're my only new friend that I've made in the last 5-7 years. You're my only new friend that I've made. Everyone else, I don't talk to them like that. Listen, we'll go get lunch.
Yeah.
We'll hang out. We'll do this, whatever. We're cool, whatever. We can chill. But it's like a friend, like someone be like, yo, someone I talk to regularly, I call regularly. And guys are different. Like I got my best friend, best man at my wedding. He's in Raleigh, Durham area. And we talk like once a quarter, but we'll text or whatever. But it's like, that's my guy. I fly down, I stay with his family, we hang out, whatever. We catch up like that. But we talk all the time. Mm-hmm. Like we talk on every week, multiple times a week, even before the podcast. So that's the friend to me, right? Me, you, Todd, Reem, Joe, like those are my people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fam.
So you're my new friend.
My son is right there. Like I don't just bring my son around there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, so you're my only new friend. So I'm skeptical about all folks, and I will side eye you like.
Me too. I be listening, bro. I be like, word. Like, but I'm my mind.
Like, I don't believe none you're saying, bro. Like none of this makes sense.
More people.
Like, bro, what you talking about right now? Don't make no sense, man. Yo, man, like yesterday, don't gaslight me, don't lie to me, and don't make me don't present yourself as something you're not.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type of dude. Whatever you are,
just be it.
I'm good with it.
Just be it.
Don't try to impress me.
It's easier.
Yeah, it's easier.
It's easier to communicate. It's easier to get off whatever you're trying to get off.
Me whatever it is. That's why you were talking about how my wife says I'm an asshole sometimes. But because I just keep it 100% true. Like, this is what I am. This is what I'm not. And if you're going to present to me something that you're not, then I don't want to mess with you no more.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe you. And I'm not going to believe anything you say from now on, because early in relationships, you present yourself as this, like, yo, I do this, I don't do that. I do that, I don't do this. I'm like, cool. I know where to put you. Perfect.
Yeah. And we leave room for obviously growth, you know what I mean? But I completely understand that. I get it. And I did want to shout out to Lawrence Aja, who if you don't feel like reading the Bible, man, he got an audio version of it where he reads it. That's our brother Lawrence, where you can just go on.
Wait, oh no, Lawrence?
Lawrence read the entire Bible, bro.
That was in wait, were you with us in Dallas? It was me, Lawrence, T, my wife, and
at dinner? No, that wasn't. No. He didn't go to this soil. Did you
come over to?
No, he came through.
Yeah, he came through with his wife and his baby.
Yes,
that's crazy.
In Lincoln's bungalow,
bro. The funny part is I don't even know what Lawrence does, but that's my guy.
Lawrence is.
I don't even know what.
That's right, because I remember y'all when you connected. He was like, I was like, you guys are introducing yourselves. You don't know each other.
No, it's funny. It's like I know of him. Yeah. He knows of me. We've been a good sword together. I didn't know that's what he does.
Yeah, he does.
He's like the best spirit, bro. He shows up with this energy, like he's like a calming spirit. He walks in, I'm like, my blood pressure just went down.
And and it's cool because he almost possesses both, but he's calming but dominant. Like you ain't gonna play with him. His biceps are bulging through his suit. He got a blazer on every time. His biceps bulging through. Like He ain't gonna play with you. Ain't gonna play with him neither, man. He love God, but you ain't gonna play with him.
But he's also such a.
He's a track star too in college. He's a track star. Yeah, y'all got that in common.
You know, I got you to talk to him some more. But no, it's like that's. But again, it comes to like people's identity. And
he's Nigerian. Sorry,
Nigerian. I love that. But they precede them, right? And we talk about like perception versus reality, and how the identity of perception versus reality can either hurt or hate or help or hurt you. Like the perception of me, the way that there's professional perception, which is, you know, sometimes Martin's an asshole. He keeps it real. He's all over the place. You know what the issue that I had on identity a long time ago when it comes to perception and reality. Before entrepreneurship became cool,
hey,
I was Tommy from Martin.
Yeah, man.
That's how people saw.
That's how the family would see you. Like, what is he?
Tommy, what does he do? How does he make money? How does he do his thing?
I
was Tommy from Martin.
I relate.
And I had such a hard time with that.
Yeah, because of the cultural background, what's expected, what your people come from, who they are.
Absolutely, no one understood it. So my identity was always like, no, Martin started a new business. And like, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find my way, because I'm not going into a traditional path. I'm not doctor, lawyer, engineer. I wasn't going to be one of those. So I needed to be able to trial and error a bunch of things before I got there. So I was always seen as like Tommy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my identity was always rooted in that, in entrepreneurship. And so it became really difficult for me, frankly, to kind of get past that. And then all of a sudden, entrepreneurship became cool. I'm an entrepreneur.
Seeing around the corner.
Bro, entrepreneur, exactly. Clairvoyance. Entrepreneurship became cool. Like, no, I was doing that before it became cool. It was doing when people were judging me for not having a job.
Yep. 2000,
you know what I mean?
2010 for me, I remember I had this, no, not even 2010, 2008 was my last job. And I went into the office I was working in, and it was like this tech joint. And I was like one of the best performers there.
Yeah.
But I would sometimes show up late because I was writing my first book.
Oh.
And I was staying up late hours, and I was using that job to fund the process of writing it.
Yeah.
And I remember the lady came to me, and she was like, "Mr. Berriola?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Today is your last day.
Oh.
You came in late and da-da-da-da-da." I was like, "But I had X amount of calls." In my mind, I was thinking that. But as she's saying it to me, there's like this smile forming on my face as she's talking. Because I'm thinking about my vision and my dreams. Oh my gosh, I'm about to go on. She's freeing me. So she was firing me, but she was freeing me. And I didn't have my identity. I've always been able to freely pivot because my identity is never tied to a thing that I do. Like, I played the drums for my church growing up, got a scholarship for drumming. Everybody thought I was going to become this drummer. And when I was done with it, I was done with it. Right? Like, I used to cut hair in college, and I opened up a shop in my dorm. I put a sign. Everybody used to ask me who cut my hair. I was like, me. They're like, "Could you cut mine?" So I just like accidentally became a barber.
Oh.
And I had on Friday nights in college, my dorm room was full.
What?
I had the video games in there, but the problem was I'm cutting their hair to go out on dates, to go out to clubs, and then like it's 11 o'clock, I'm tired, so I go to sleep. I was like, I'm good. So I shut down the shop after like a week and a half, and I was making bread and all that. I didn't care though, because that wasn't my identity.
Yeah.
So I pivot. Same with the book thing, right? I was on tour for a decade, from 2009 to 2019, pre-pandemic, and then pivoted into the creative agency, and then pivoted. We've done work together. We did the Kyrie project. Then I'm on the red carpet. You know, De Leon doing NAACP is the red carpet host. Then I'm what else have we done? Then I'm working with Good Soil with you.
That's right.
Then I'm I mean there's plenty, so you understand it. So you know how to like place, oh, he could do this, he could do that, he could do this, he could do that, he could do this. But I'm not tied to the things that I did. The reason, my reputation, I'm not tied to my earthly reputation. It's malleable.
But what's interesting though is like what you just explained. It's like the again, perception versus reality, right? Sometimes as a result of doing more of what you just described, you get further away from the reality is that you're an accomplished writer, right? An accomplished creative writer that can write anything under the sun, as opposed to the perception is that, oh, you are, while a lot of it is true, it's like, oh, he's just talent.
Yeah,
right? He's talent.
Entrepreneur. Been an entrepreneur since 2008, man. But like you said, before it was cool.
I remember
my family.
again, I stays on the hustle. So this was 2009. My daughter was just 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I raised my first $1 million to start my tea company. And I was,
Sound effects right there.
out of nowhere, literally. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember A Small World?
What is that?
A Small World used to be a platform. It was Reddit before Reddit became what it is. It's like the original Reddit, which was like a invitation only online forum where you can send messages, post things, whatever.
Mhm.
It was like the original blogs,
Okay.
right? And so it's invitation. Tiger Woods was part of it. Michael Jordan was part of it. The whole 9 yards. I got an invite out of the blue somewhere, and I stayed on my hustle. So I was like developing my tea company, the concept, and I posted on there multiple times. All of a sudden, I got a bite.
Mhm.
Guys like, love it, want to do it. But boom, here's $1 million. Give me $1 million cash. Let's go. I was like, bet.
What are you feeling, man? I mean, because I want people to. Sometimes we say things we do because we can have conversations, and they're actually incredible. These are like elevated conversations, but to us, in some instances, can be normal.
Yeah.
So I'm asking how you feel, just to level set to somebody that's listening. They were like, "Dang, that's wow. How do you do?" Like, just I just wanted to know how did that feel?
It felt surreal.
Okay.
Because you open up your bank account, it shows $1 million in there, right? From one day it's not, next day it is.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. You know what I mean? So it's wild. And so, but I was also working a full-time job. And this is, in the previous episode mentioned, my ex-wife just didn't necessarily believe in the vision,
Mhm.
but I raised $1 million.
Mhm.
And so I'm working this job as a senior brand manager, Dr. Pepper Snapple. And I'm sitting there working every single day, showing up 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. And then I was like, yo, I've got this $1 million in here, but it's not necessarily everything I need, but it's enough to get started. Let me at least get started.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an expo, a food expo in Baltimore. So I knew how, and I was working for this asshole boss. I mean, like the worst. Like this dude, I did all the work and he took all the credit. Every single time.
Sounds
I did the
familiar.
research, I wrote the deck, I did this, I did that, and he took all of it and put it all up as his. I show up in the meeting, he'd do the presentation. I'm like, excuse me, sir. I literally did everything you're talking about. I wrote the words that you're reading right now. And he set up, and because he's the brand director, and I hated that's why I hated that world so much. I hated that world. I hated the world of the step up situation because I'm like, I'm doing all the work, but you're taking my credit. That's messed up. So I'm in there. So the Baltimore Expo is Wednesday to Sunday, but I got a job, and I've already burned through all my vacation, burned through my sick hours, my vacation, everything else. So I was like, and this is no remote, no nothing. I was like, you know what? I wonder if they're gonna miss me.
Ain't nothing like making somebody miss you, boy. That's where that power is.
So I straight up took off. I was like, I set up the expo. I flew out Tuesday night, got there Wednesday, and then I told them, I'm on Wednesday. I was already set up. I emailed them, I'm sick. I'm taking a sick day today.
Uh-huh.
Thursday, I'll probably be tomorrow. Thursday, I sent them the same thing. I'm still sick. I'll be out. Thursday afternoon, they said, you have 5 minutes? I was like, I know what this is. I know what this is. They said, unfortunately, we're gonna have to let you go. I was like, all right. I was like, cool. That's fine. Nope. I was actually like, I don't got to put those rules up no more. I ain't got to deal with you no more. I got the money in there. But that's really me being fired really from that job because I didn't come to work was really the start of it. That really started the end of the Tommy journey and the start of the Martin journey because I now had an anchor to build. My identity was now built into building that business. And now I could root myself in something that was going to take me into the next level of entrepreneurship, right? I was no longer Tommy. I was Martin, the tea guy. So now I'm Dr. Oz. I'm on Oprah. I'm on this. I'm on that. I got these write-ups. I got my store. I got the product. I'm flying. So now my identity is clear. My identity is super clear. But sometimes when you're too rooted in identity, you're scared of failure.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you fail in that business, in that thing,
there goes your identity.
There goes your identity. You failed, not the business. You failed.
Personalizing it.
So so you asked me last episode, you were like, do I take things personally? I said in business I do, because I wrap myself inside of a cocoon of the work.
You go in, yeah.
And a good, bad, or indifferent. That's how I'm really with all things, but good, bad, or indifferent. I wrap myself in a cocoon in all those things. And if it doesn't work, I personally fail. Right. And it's hard then to like separate myself from that identity.
It is. I'm not gonna act like it's not, man. It is. I mean, real quick, speaking of identity, I just want to identify these shoes that you're wearing, these beautiful shoes, man. That you come in casually and cross your leg like you ain't got no Louis Vuitton. So just shout out to the shoes, man. Gonna come up here and stunt.
Shout out Pharrell for crushing.
Oh yeah.
No, actually, no. Shout out to our sponsor. Kidding.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Fear of God. You
Fear
see
of
what's
God.
happening? Fear of God A&M.
No, this right here. This is like, I was stopped at the JFK airport by this this author. He's a producer, author for the what's the Black Nightline dude. Man, I gotta come back to it. I forgot his name. But he's the producer for it. He wrote a book. And he's like, yo, he wrote a book about freedom. And he's like, yo, your sweatshirt is like, speaks to me. So he stopped, gave me his book right there and there. He was reading. He said, I wrote this. I was just taking some notes. I want you to have this. I'm gonna sign it.
Wow. And
gave it to me immediately. And he said, this is your sweatshirt speaks to me in the heart. Because I saw this because it was part of the Atlanta
the capsule drop. Yeah.
Civil rights.
Yep.
And about John
Civil
Lewis.
collection. Yeah.
And so this spoke to me. I don't ever buy drops because I'm not even like that. I don't buy drops. I buy the things that I like.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just got to get it because it speaks to me.
When I saw that, I immediately identified that in you. And I mean, that's the beauty of identity, that allows you through something as simple as garments, which just, so you don't keep cold. It's to clothe your body, right? Allows you the opportunity to connect with somebody who also shares in that identity through that airport encounter. And I mean, when I saw you with that, in my head, all kinds of things down, like, okay, cool. Because you know, in relationships, you want to make sure that your people are consistently the people that they're growing, that they're the people they say. So I was like, oh, my man knows what's happening, and of course I already know that, but that's just a reminder, like, oh, you got that, because that, you know, Fear of God is that type of brand where it's like, yo, if you got that, you know what's happening, right? There's certain levels of Fear of God, right? Where you know this Fear of God A&M joint's an ode to Fear of God, but also Jerry went to FAMU, you know what I'm saying? Just like I did. So it's like a subtle nod, if you know, you know. But it allows me to identify with that identity and celebrate that identity in a way that we can wear it. And that brings me to the point, like, we can wear our worldly identity in like a garment that you take off and take on. You just can't be married to it. You got to know that it's going to eventually be discarded, right? Your identity will eventually be discarded. Time won't remember you. I don't care what you think your legacy is. You don't know what time is. You don't know. You do not know what time it. What is 1 trillion years ago? Was there something? We don't know. What's 1 trillion, billion, whatever years from now? Do you think you're going to be remembered? This life is a speck. We think we are so important. We think everything is so urgent. We think, bro, we look at stars in the sky that don't even exist. They've already burnt out, but we can see them. But they're not even there. What is time? Do you think you're going to be these stars that don't even remember, right? Like, do you think, and that's not like, I don't want to discourage people on their journey, but there are things that are eternal and there are things that aren't, and most things aren't. Most things won't be remembered. So what are you doing? Right? Like, what is your identity tied to? What are you doing that will last?
Yeah. And I think that's the $1 million question. It's like, how are you developing your identity, and does your identity fully encompass where you are today? And does your identity need to change?
Yeah, and that's a good constant question. It's a good daily question because, again, we're humans, and
who are you?
Who are you?
Like, who are you? No, that's
a hard question to answer.
No, seriously though, like,
most people will be like, Martin. Nah, fam, not what's your name, but who are you?
The most difficult question I've ever had has been, where are you from? Like, because my identity is rooted in so many places. I can never ask that. So where are you from? Do you mean like where I went to high school, where I was born, where I grew up? Like, what's the thing? It's like, so it's like, I feel like, and it's not necessarily saying that your identity can't continue to evolve, which is fine. But I think that the challenge is not allowing your identity to be like an anchor that holds you down in a place of negative space. Like, if you're able to really have a rooting in something that can allow you to build and gather friends around you that are like-minded within that same identity, and also people that are able to support you in your journey as you find that identity. My wife just asked me, it's like, you still have some room to grow and to find yourself and what you're truly passionate about, right? Because I feel like it's easy to get back into Tommy land.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I kind of feel like I'm in Tommy land right now.
But it's so easy to get back into Tommy land because the reason is you and I are so good at so many things,
man. Effortlessly,
and
two
it's
times.
effortlessly.
First time you try it, like, oh, there's some awards, there's this, there's that. It's like,
and it's not easy to monetize.
I know.
All the things we're good at.
In a world that wants you to do one thing.
One thing to be able to get a check. I do X, I get a check for Y. We do A, B, C, F, Q, J, W, and we might get paid for Z. And I even named that letter. We might get paid for Z. We didn't like
so
literally.
true.
I was on a pitch today. I was on a pitch today when you were in the house.
That was a brilliant pitch. I was listening in, taking notes. Like, oh, this is like a master class. So let me,
bro.
Miles was sitting down. I was like, I hope he's getting this. I know he doesn't understand, but I hope he's getting this.
But I'm on a pitch, and in the middle of the pitch, I'm like, I know that you want this thing.
You're right,
but I can make this other thing.
Yeah.
Right? Don't think of it in just this lens. I can expand this, and I can take the idea and I can overlay it on so many other places. Right? And the only way you can do that is by being good at so many things that you have fingers in every pot and every pie everywhere. It's like the ability to stretch your expertise and allow your category expertise in Y be applicable to A.
Yeah.
If you can have cross-pollination of these applicable skills that allows you to truly be effective in no matter what situation you're in. I tell my wife, yo, you can put me in the middle of Chirac, you can put me in Iraq, you can put me in Afghanistan, I will be fine.
Figure it out.
I will always figure it out.
I will always be fine.
I will always be fine. Doesn't matter where you put me, I will always be fine because I've had enough experiences in different places I can be resourceful. And that's the thing that I fear like a lot of people are not anymore.
Yeah.
Resourceful. Like being able to be like, I'm going to call this, and this person. I'm going to connect this, and that dot.
Brother,
I'm going to go bop to get to that.
Hey, you have been a resource for me. You know what I'm saying? I've definitely been in seasons where it's like, and still in some places I am currently, right? Like where I'm like, let me hit Martin, man. Let me hit Martin and be like, yo, what you need, brother?
Yeah, but that resourcefulness is unfortunately not necessarily evident a lot. And so being able to connect your identity to the thing that's going to allow you to grow and be better is something that we always have to do. But let's, we got to save that for the next one.
Save that for the next one, man. And identity is in my coat right now. Y'all need to check out this beautiful St. Miles jacket. I had to show it. It's so beautiful, man.
That dope.
Look at that.
I had that joint on.
Yeah,
it
man.
Fit me. I'm 6'5". He's like 4'3".
It fits at 4. You about to see the Nigerian come out, man. I know you 6'5", but I punch high, man. I be in the gym all the time, bro.
You jump to punch.
This man trying to test my Nigerian, man. No, but this was a really dope podcast, brother. It was a dope episode. It's incredible to just spend time casually and be like, have conversation and get to know my brother, man. I'm hopeful that this will reach the masses and that folks will know who they are. One last question before we go.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Oh, I am.
My fact. Who are you?
Who are you? Who are you? I am I'm the son of a proud Nigerian father with the biggest heart. I am the son of the best mother I've ever had, that anybody could ever have, who bleeds for her son. I am the husband to the most amazing wife, and I'm the father to 5 children. I happen to be an entrepreneur. I happen to have gone to a good school. I happen to be 6'5", and I happen to be dashingly handsome.
This man was a whole model before this situation, man. So more sponsors. If y'all need a model that does all of these things, Martin is in. Man, if you ask me that question, I would say that I am a reflection of the goodness and grace of God as exhibited by every inhale and exhale, because it is only by God's grace and my dependence on God that my body is operational, that I don't quite know how it works and science attempts to explain. But every time I try to inhale, it just happens, and it's been happening for 43 years. And I'm grateful for that. I will never not acknowledge that. And I am a reflection of that light, and I am in service of in constant service of the assignment I've been given. And that's to love, that's to reflect that light, that's to reflect that truth, whether it comes out through written word, whether it comes out from me on a stage, whether it comes out through a microphone in a podcast disseminated to an audience of many, whether it comes out one-to-one, whether it comes out in conversation in a Starbucks line, whether it comes out in conversation through an Uber driver. I am to be loved, man, and reflect that there is something greater. You know what I'm saying? And that's exhibited through all of the cool things that I'm able to do and I'm blessed to do, that I just so happen to be gifted in, to exhibit that, wow, there is a God.
No doubt. All right, that's the wrap of the episode. And this was The Quiet Truth.
The Quiet Truth.
Yo, this is like, you can't forget that.
The Quiet Truth.
Bro.